Yeah. 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 So many lies that you hear from the net, they don't get her respect. She reporting the truth, not a check. You want an unbiased opinion straight from the chest, not a bit accomplice or someone here for a check. Tune in, these are thoughts from a lawyer on a mission who goes so hard it's like she works on commission. Trolls in the comments might say she tripping cause they lack the knowledge, they don't know they missing. Got a couple current events that you like, wanna know about law from the eyes. Tired of all these blogs running lies because they agendas are disguised. Tune in to the intellect, cause I'm sure y'all missing all the facts of the case that she steady is gifting. Someone here for the people, man, it's so uplifting. If you ain't subscribed yet, then you just omitting facts.
Hello, everyone. It is Pam Esquire, also known as Your Law Intellect. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Listen, I was going to go live even if we were just going to chit chat about whatever, because I'm like, nothing is really happening that I really want to talk about. Like the Hollywood portion of this legal situation is getting a little dry. Now, we did have the amendment of the complaint that Ariel Mitchell put out with the young lady who had the fantastic story about going to an apartment and being gang, but all because she said something about Tupac and all of that. We kind of went over that before, but it was so far-fetched for me that I don't think I ever even really went back to it. Well, now she's named all of the individuals of which she had a name before in her amended complaint. So she added like Drewski and Odell Beckham and Jaguar Wright. Everybody was getting a turn. And it still didn't make sense to me. So I didn't want to go live about that. And there's been plenty of people talking about it as well. But I think many of you guys probably have seen by now, Jaguar Wright, if you go on her Instagram page, the date that they were alleging she was involved, she was in jail. So that was, she was up there begging for letters in commissary during that time. And you guys talking about she was like the madam or something. Like she was madam on all the Queen's men. That's how they had her looking like in that complaint. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyways, how you guys doing? Let me make sure you guys are doing okay. Good to see you. I am unique. Good to see you, Miss HLS. You guys make sure you hit the like button on the way in. You guys know I just randomly came on. Fine 9JA said, "Hey Pam Intellects, I haven't been keeping up on this case because it's too much for me, but I'm tapping in today. Thank you so much." Well, not much has happened on the case with Kelly Bryant. She is a woman here in Michigan, so that's local, for me, who was accused of abandoning her kids in a home that was absolutely filthy. So we watched the arraignment and then we watched the bond hearing, and then she had a reduction in bond hearing as well. And now today, the prosecutor has slapped her with more charges. What was very interesting was many of you guys, and I'm wondering how much they look at these YouTubes and what people say in the comments, as utilizing it as another tool to help in their investigations. Just like how many of you guys have followed my platform with the Ernest Williams, and how we talked about the bigamy, and how Chronicle Speaks, talked to one of the wives, and like how much do they really pay attention to what they say? Because they try to drag us on YouTube like we're not real journalists and all of that, but apparently we must be some good investigators, because it seems like when we bring certain facts up, it becomes somehow a part of these cases, and this is no different. So some of you guys were asking questions related to like where she was getting her money from with sending these kids this DoorDash, because apparently they would text and let her know that they were hungry after, going a little bit without food, and she would drop food off on the porch, or she would send for DoorDash for them. And then there were questions about Section 8. I was like, I don't if the lady's on Section 8. I don't know anything about it. Well, apparently she was getting welfare. All right. She was on welfare. What the specific benefits were, I don't know, but they did hit her today with some welfare fraud charges. So I pull up the statute. We can go over the statute or whatever on welfare fraud. Did you see the New York Times article in Busby? Very interesting how the firm he used for his Jane Doe is a huge organization that vets cases for lawyers. Didn't know that existed. No, I didn't see that, but it wouldn't shock me because that's his argument. He was basically saying that this is what this firm does. They vet cases and they vetted this one. I personally, even if I get referrals, which I get all the time, sometimes the cases have already started. So, like for instance, if someone starts a case in state court, say they sue Walmart or something, oftentimes the big corporations are going to transfer it to federal court because there's a diversity a citizenship, because Walmart, they may have stores everywhere, but they have a specific headquarters. So they'll go ahead and they'll transfer it. But hey, the original attorney may not be admitted to practice in federal court. So then they'll come to me and ask me, hey, can you take this case? Even though it's easy to get, sworn in. Sometimes some people don't want to practice in federal court because they know it's a bit difficult or it's different. It's different. I'm not gonna say it's difficult. It's way more rules, way more strictness than state court. Like I said, I remember when I was a first year, we have a seminar at our district court, the Eastern District of Michigan, downtown Detroit. And the first thing all those judges said, it's like a first year seminar, and they try to introduce you to the courts and the judges, and you get to walk the hallways and get the feel of federal court. And the first thing they tell you is, yeah, that stuff you do in state court, we don't do here. So sometimes people do get intimidated and then they don't want to practice there at all. So I've had situations where they've asked me to come on for those reasons, and I don't take it unless I vet the case. I don't care. I don't care if you took the case, because every case that I take, I may not see what you see and vice versa. So I think it's cool to have a firm that's what they do. They're probably more of a referral firm, I would assume. So maybe they vet cases and then they farm them out to people. There are plenty of people, like say for instance, you were a judge at some point and now you're not. So you just become a reglo smeglo attorney and start practicing, or you need to, get your license, get your bearings back, but you really don't want to practice because you've been on the bench for 30 years. So you really don't want to practice. And that's happened. There's been some people that have been judges and they ended up getting voted out, and they've done it for years. So because they have a name, what they'll do is a lot of times they'll get their websites, they'll get their numbers, but really what they end up doing is referring the cases out to other attorneys. So yes, I know that happens, but like a straight up organization where all they do is vet cases, no, I can't say that I've seen that before. But it wouldn't shock me. I still would check everything that you put your signature to. I think it's crazy to just trust anybody. Happy Tuesday, JMM55. Thank you guys for joining me. Hey, Miss Buckeye. Hey, little baby. Good to see you. You said, I'm sure they're all watching YouTube and TikTok. Yeah, because we've seen too many responses that have occurred that tend to, it appears that it's after we've had conversations. Like even with Ernest, do we know if the state is not uncommon for them to pull your phone calls and all of that? But do we know how diligent they really would have been in that? If it wasn't even on the internet, we don't know. So yes, it's very interesting. But anyway, the girl Kelly, because this is not going to be a long. I really just want to talk to y'all for a minute because nothing is happening for real on the cases that we're covering, and I don't know when something will happen. So I'm like, I don't know when I'm gonna come on. So let me hurry up and jump on here and at least give this little update. So Kelly, I was just perusing and let me see. Let me go to first. Let's go to her docket. So her docket fraud, welfare fraud over $500. So that makes it a felony. If it's under 500, I think it's a misdemeanor. So she got one count of welfare fraud, and she has the second count of welfare fraud. And then there's the third count of welfare fraud. So yeah, they don't have the hearing date set up. It literally just got filed on today. They said they're going to give notice. They're going to give notice of, you see the date filed March 11, 2025. They are going to give notice of her while she is in jail, because that's where that's her current home right now. So that's what she will be receiving notice that, even though the judge was so gracious and you guys was going off, the judge was gracious, reduced her bond from 250 million to what, 50,000. Basically said 250 million is like no bond at all. And y'all was pissed. She shouldn't be able to get out, like somebody was running to pay her $50,000 cash fine. She shouldn't be able to get out. No. Who's on da 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 da, and turn around and she just got hit with some more charges. So apparently, thank you so much, Name Change, for the 5 gifted memberships. I appreciate you supporting the platform. So you said how much was she bringing in a month? I don't know. We really don't have any real. I mean, I don't know if they did a press conference. Let me see if they did a press conference to see if she doesn't have an arraignment date yet. So, but I am going to go over the statute with you guys so you guys know exactly what it is. Kelly. I don't see anything on here. Yeah, I don't see anything on her. But anybody that's not familiar with the case, if you go on YouTube, aside from the couple of videos that I did, our local news channels have covered this extensively, of which they've shown them like cleaning out this disgusting house and talking to I think it was a former sister-in-law. So there are some local news clips of it that are, straight and to the point, outside of the YouTubers that have been talking about it. Lovely True Red said, right, knowing that woman doesn't have anyone to or money or anything she can use as collateral to make bond. Yeah, well, there is cash. It's no surety. So they got to come up with the cash. So even though 50,000, I think people just looked at it from the 250 million going down to 50,000. Heck, for some people, $5,000 cash is like no bond. I mean, when you look at the circumstances, and she wasn't working, she was unemployed. When the prosecutor basically said, yeah, her attorney is taking facts from her, and she's not a good historian. And I don't believe all of these people. The only one person that wanted to say, oh yeah, she can stay with me or whatever it was, they wanted to make sure they remained anonymous. They didn't want to like put their name out there, because you already know how the internet would have been. That person probably would have had to move. They would have found out where she worked at. They probably would have called her job or his job or whoever it was. So she was willing, whoever it was willing to help, but they wanted to remain anonymous. But that was it. There was really no other people of all of this community that her attorney was alleging that she had. Which when the attorney was saying that, I was like, how was she having all of this community, but Nobody knew, nobody came to check on those kids. Nobody said I need to physically lay my eyes on these kids. Like nobody. Hey, remarried 100. What up, though? She said, love your commentary and your sense of humor. I'm from Detroit too. Thank you so much for supporting my Detroit sister. Rizzy Rozzy said, hey, Pam and Intellects finally caught alive. I'm happy, but would also like a hood. I know. Y'all own me about the hood court. I know you guys. Honestly, I was this close to doing a hood court on that Drewski Ariel Mitchell lawsuit that I was talking about at the beginning with Jaguar, right? I was really close to doing a hood court on that because that was the most ghettoest stuff I have seen. I was like, are we believing everything that is happening right now? Is this something? I mean, allegedly it's supposed to be true, but I'm just saying, if I had to give my opinion, it just wasn't coming across that credible to me. And then when the Jaguar Wright situation happened where it looked like she was in jail, I'm like, how was she there talking to you guys, acting like she was a part of some big it was just crazy. Then apparently Diddy's attorneys came out and said that the police already investigated and said that it wasn't substantiated. So I don't know. I just thought that would be a good hood court. The problem is that lawsuit is like long, like it's about 80 pages. So I'm like, how am I gonna? I would have to really sit down, read the whole lawsuit, pull everything out. Then I gotta figure who I want to represent. I think the law offices of Hood and Ghetto, we will represent Jaguar, right? That would be fun. Now we will represent Jaguar on this case. But we would need somebody that's gonna have to represent Jane Doe. It's just a lot. It's a lot going on. Or whoever they have a plaintiff and now they're added some Jane Doe and John Doe, and I guess one of them was supposed to be an alleged victim of Michael Jackson who had filed a lawsuit against Michael Jackson back in the day too, who has joined this whole story. But it's yeah. I'm just saying. Can you imagine like Exhibit A showing her behind bars, like showing her mugshot or something? I don't know. I don't know how that would go, but that's the most ghettoest case. I mean, we can always do Ernest Williams over and over, but I just kind of moved away from it because he is about to do it. You know, he about to have a real trial in a minute. So if he doesn't please, so I'm waiting on that. We needs hood court. That's from Mom's the Boss. All right. We're gonna have to get we're gonna have to have an office meeting over there then because it's a lot. Y'all can't expect me to get it. You know, I could turn into my Carla character real quick. But it's a lot to turn some of it. We were just doing like the phone calls. We were going through the phone calls and stuff when we were doing it last time. But like to actually do a case, that'll be a little bit of work. So we'll see. You said I'll just stop asking for hook. I'm trying to come on this platform. You see, they done kicked me out the algorithm. I'm like, y'all, please like, please subscribe. I used to be in the algorithm immediately when I came on here. I had people wait. Now it's like I got to sit here for a minute. I got to share it on Instagram. I got to put it on my wall. I got to beg y'all to share it. I got to like it. And that's happening to a lot of people because I've just been seeing a lot of people's numbers just cut in half and go down. It was one point, I want to say about every month I will have like 1,000 new subscribers. Now it's just like pretty much the same. It's been the same for a little bit now. Towning, thank you so much. Oh my God, that is so kind. You've been gifted 10 memberships. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really do. You didn't have to do it, but I'm glad that you did. You said, can you share the link? Anybody, Miss Buckeye, you got the link to my other channel? Watch those videos, okay? That's what y'all can do. While you guys are waiting for me to get the hood court together. It's really like okay, so let me explain what it is. So it's really like the law offices of hood and ghetto, but we'll call it hood court. But we've never really done court. We've always the few videos that we've had over there. So at first I was just going to go over cases that I really didn't care about. So it was cases like when Christian stuff with like Christian, like people that I don't even talk about over here because they're like, you know, always into something because they're so young or whatever. So that's how it started, right? And then what had happened was, I want to say Sonya got slick with me or something. Sonya, part of the whole Ernest Williams thing. And she was saying how mean and nasty that I was. I was like, I don't even really, I come on here, I go over the documents, I try to pull up law, pull up case law, pull up statutes. I'm really not being mean and nasty. I can show you how I can be, what I really be thinking. You know what I'm saying? Like Dev said all the time, like, I just don't be knowing what you thinking. So when I do stuff, he look at me like I'm crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't really know. Like, I think like how I read, and you guys are like, you're so animated. You're so animated. That's literally how I read. I read to my daughter like that. Like, I almost put myself there. And it may have been because in college I took a creative writing course, and it's kind of stuck with me ever since, that you want to make people feel and experience whatever details are. And so what I went over there was because Sonya was always giving all of this ghetto advice, and she just felt like she was just so smart, and a lot of the stuff just was getting him deeper and deeper in, but he didn't see it. She was saying what he wanted to hear. So because she was saying what he wanted to hear, I'm just laughing. Yeah, like I'm laughing at some of the stuff she's saying and how she's interpreting the law. Like, I'm laughing at all of this stuff, right? So one day I said, I'm just going to not be Pam Esquire. I'm going to be Carla. So I went over there and I started the law offices of Hood and Ghetto based off of the advice that she was giving. So I would do the phone calls, and I would like critique the phone calls, but do it from a hood law firm perspective. And apparently, again, when I did it because I was trying to respond. I was being petty, and I didn't want to be petty on my platform because I know that I'm tamed over here, whether y'all believe it or not. I'm really tamed. So I was like, well, let me do a second backup channel because it's always good to have a backup channel. And I'm going to go over there and cut out. So that's how it all happened. So it's probably about 2-3 videos where I am acting literally like a ghetto attorney. Nobody has licenses at this law firm. We don't rent out a building in real life. We go have our law firm. We have it in abandoned buildings. You got to keep your stuff packed just in case you get evicted. We use the Wi-Fi from next door. We just had this whole situation recreated. So if you guys want to check out those videos, somebody put the link in the chat. It's probably the last 2 videos that was up there. It's been a long time, but that's where the hood and ghetto came from. So really, so everybody was in the chat like, I want to be the secretary. I want to be the so and so. So at one point when like Dennis and Sylvia got into it, I was like, y'all would be good on the law offices of Hood and Ghetto. So we'll turn it into a hood court. So that's where the hood court came up, because we was like, because it was real gut. Like, they were cool. And then it was all of these allegations about Dennis buying her address. It was just crazy. Like, they were really cool. Like, I guess she was learning a lot from him being a journalist, and they got cool over covering R. Kelly. It was just a lot. And then they fell out. And it was really funny when they fell out. So we were everybody was pulling up receipts on who paid for what and when and how it really went. And so I was like, we can have hood court. Somebody was like, we think you should go over there to Pam's backup channel and do hood court. So that's kind of where the hood court came. For those of you that's just confused, like, what is this hood court? Is really like the law offices of Hood and Ghetto. Okay, so it's 2 videos over. I might share it on my wall for those that never saw it. Pam be the attorney when ASAP Rally called to sue ASAP Rocky because that was the most hood and ghetto fight trial. That lawsuit is ghetto too. That's what I'm saying. I would have to turn it into like a court because we really only did it as a law firm, is what I'm saying. So when everybody say let's have hood court, we've never really had hood court. Because see, some of y'all would have to participate. Like somebody would have to volunteer to be like one of the prosecutor if it's a criminal case. Like we would have to like put this thing together. But it was very interesting to watch people in the comments were so funny. And again, my whole point when I did it was just to get back at somebody. It was me being very, very petty. I have repented since. But the videos turned out really, really funny. And everybody has wanted it ever since. So like they said they stopped asking because I just never went back and did it or whatever. Heck, I barely was coming over here like I was supposed to. So I was like, I don't want y'all liking that more than actually learning the real law, even though it's fun. But so if you guys go over there and watch it, don't view me any different, okay? I was just having fun. I was getting back at, I listened to a phone call and the girl was talking about me, or she went live, I think, and she was talking about me. And so I was like, you're hood and ghetto legal advice. This is the law firm you work for. So I did a whole kind of skit thing. So that was it. But thank you so much, Sassy Experience. I appreciate the super chat. And you said, should Erika King be a partner at the farm? You see what I'm saying? Like Erika, we talked about Erika because Erika King, for some of you guys that don't know, she was literally representing Ernest Williams. Now, that's a video I do want to do with the situation of which Erika King won a case representing Ernest Williams, and she was using someone else's identity. So she and her letters, like we read her letters and we went over the state's motion to dismiss. We read her letters and her letters were actually like sounding somewhat professional. I know we got Chat GPT, so the letters ain't as impressive. But you talking about back in like what 2020 or 2021 or whenever this was, and she was in Zoom and she was holding her own. And what happened is the young lady that is saying that Ernest stole her trailer and her motorcycle, took it and didn't give it back and didn't pay her for it or whatever. She was trying to, because I guess the police department originally didn't really, they looked up some information. They thought she was lying because she ended up getting a warrant out for her. She ended up getting arrested herself and she went trying to tell on him. So she tried to, apparently there's some way where you can try to file to get a warrant with the court yourself. So apparently she filed whatever this document is. I'm not familiar with it, but apparently you can do that in Georgia. She requested for a warrant and you had to have a hearing. So when she got on there to request the warrant, Ernest had Erika, who was posing as another attorney, represent her. And she almost got caught, but she was so quick. So she ended up where somehow she got kicked out or logged off or something of her Zoom. So she had the attorney's name, April Hollowell. She had that on there, but then when she came out of the Zoom, it turned into her real name. So it had Erika King. So what she probably did was when she came on the first time, they gave her the ability to save her name. So she changed it to what she wanted to change it to, which was April Holloway. But if she's on Zoom a lot, you guys know you have a save name that's going to be on there. So what probably happened was she changed her name. Once she went into it and seen her name on there, they give her our opportunity to change it. She changed it, but then once she got kicked off and she was just in Zoom, she ended up coming back in and it had her real name. So the judge was like, why does it say Erika King? And she was like, that's my secretary. Like her being on her toes like that was just like, I knew everything I needed to know. They had the transcript attached. So that might be a video that we end up doing, is that Zoom. That would be good over there. We could also do that Erika King, Ernest Williams, because I was trying to get that little Zoom thing and they wouldn't give it to me. They were saying they changed it where the only people that can get the Zoom video are the parties. Like it's not quote public record for you to just go in with for you, which it was a prop. To me, it didn't make sense because they literally just changed it before I asked for it. Well, after I had already asked for it and they denied me to get it, but I just wasn't even trying to tussle like that. It wasn't that deep, but I wanted to see that Zoom. I was like, I just want to see the Zoom. But we seen the pictures because it was attached to the motion to dismiss, and we also seen the transcript. So we got the information. Thank you, JMM55, for gifting a membership. I appreciate that. And thank you, Be the Light, for being a member for 12 months. I appreciate that. We done went all to the left, but it's cool. I just wanted to chit chat anyway and then talk about, something legal while we were on here. Hey, Morky Mom, I haven't seen you in a minute. I hope you're doing well. And I'm glad you caught alive. Maybe you were scrolling through the YouTube, because I know the notifications haven't been working for me. And for Always Forever said, did Erika ever pay a price for using that lawyer's name? So that was what happened. Was, for those of you that don't know, I went back to Georgia again because when Erika's final plea hearing, she was going to plea. She didn't care, like whatever it was, she was going to take it. So the state she's been cooperating from the beginning. So once she got in trouble, she started spilling her, what else? She was spilling her guts soon as she got arrested. So she always was cooperative, is what it looks like. She was giving statements. She was, giving her witness statements and stuff. So she was already trying to be helpful, quote unquote, save herself is what she was trying to do. So she was going to take the plea that day and the state wasn't prepared. Like, of course, her attorney probably just saw her for the first time in court because Erika, y'all know, was out on bond. She's been out for a while. She did about 8 months maybe. And then she got out, and she been out for the last year and a half, because that's why Nesto was all mad. And he felt like, that's why he kept telling Shirley, my co-defendant got released, so I know I'm about to get out. And that's only a portion of his charges, but that's what he was feeding, that's what he was feeding Shirley, because she got out. So on that day, she was going to take the deal, and apparently it was like an email that happened 3 days before or something, and so she was going to take the deal. But the issue was that they wanted the victims to be able to come in and give a statement if they wanted to. So that's what the prolonging was. So then she came in and she went to do the deal. Was like sweet. She was going to be on like probation forever. I don't know. They do like 9 years and whatever. She's going to be on probation for a long time. They were going to give her jail time, but it was going to be served because she had already done the months. So they were going to do it as time served and give her like a year or 2 or whatever they was going to try to credit it as. I guess they can choose how they want to credit it to. And she wasn't going to have to report. She wasn't going to have to, like, it's like she was on, it was a situation of which, like, after that time, if she doesn't get in trouble, they just drop the case. It was like real sweet. It was real sweet. She wasn't gonna have to like go drop. She wasn't gonna have to do anything. And a lot of that was based on her health declining actually helped her, because that was part of why they let her out. Because when you really look at all the counts and all the time she was posing as, it was more than one lawyer. She had used more than one lawyer's name. I think it was about 3. And so the judge was like, I'm not taking this. No, nothing, no rest of no nothing. So he was like, no, I'm not. He don't care what the state said. So the judge wouldn't accept the plea. And so they had to go back to the drawing board to basically, they asked the judge, what would you consider? So the judge was like, at least some type of reporting or whatever. So, but anyway, it was postponed so that the victims can come, and April Hollowell, the real April Hollowell, really did come. And she basically said, and I'm sure I got the video, but she basically said that how it affected her life, that she's licensed in Georgia, but she lives in Texas. And during that time, she had lost a family member and she was going through a lot of life changes, and life was really hard for her. And then she gets notification from the bar of like her basically having to say this wasn't her representing this part. So she had to deal with her, her license because of it. So the lady was very nice. She just told him, like, I hope you never do this to somebody again. That, like, she really was emotional about it and how it affected her, because she said she didn't know if how far Erika went. So yeah, you use my name on some pleadings, which is like bold within itself, but she didn't know if, like, for instance, she had used her trust account. And trust accounts is the number one, that's where we keep our clients' money that we're holding. Did you try to use the trust account? Did you utilize, like she said, that's what affected her the most, is she just didn't know how far she went. So, but she did say she didn't care about what the punishment was. Like, she wasn't there to say, Judge, I think she needs to do jail time. She wasn't doing any of that. That's why I said she had a lot of grace and mercy. She really did. Because she didn't. And I think if April wanted her to do a couple months, I think the judge probably would have said okay. But she wasn't. She just asked that she would never do that to anybody again because of how bad it affected her life, trying to clear her name up. And she said even to that day, she doesn't know the extent of how her name was used. So she still doesn't know if this is going to come back and bite her again in the next year. Because she doesn't know. Is Ernest the only person that you've used my name on? Have you been acting like you was a lawyer for several people and Ernest is just the one that you got caught on? So yeah, people work that hell to get through law school, pass the bar, and build. Absolutely, all you have is your reputation. That's what you have. Your time is what you get paid for, and your reputation is what gets you paid. So yeah, I felt her. I'd have been pissed because I think at first it was crazy because people thought she took my identity. I didn't know like where it came from, but I had to like contact a couple of people. Like, girl, it wasn't me. I'm like, I was like, I don't even practice in Georgia. That wasn't gonna help her out. I mean, I've been in Georgia on a case or two, but I pro hoc vice in. I was like, I ain't gonna help her, but they thought it was me. I was like, nah, that would have been a whole different story. She had tried to take my doggone identity, but I think it was because I was covering it. Morky mom said, hello, Pammy, Pam, and Intellects. Hey. Auntie Eva said electricity from hood and ghetto is from the pole. Yeah, no, we were like connecting. Why we were connecting? What do we have? I think it was extension cords. We had a bunch of extension cords and we were moving it over. Like it was, y'all gotta check it out. You gotta check it out when we get off of here. It was actually funnier than I even anticipated, but that's because all of y'all don't have any sense either. None of the intellects have sense. They're like faking the funk, trying to act all super, and they were just acting super conservative. And they got over there, and everybody let their hair out and was real ghetto over there on that channel. So, but we'll figure something out, y'all. We'll figure it out. I'm not gonna leave you hanging. Patty said we thought Erika was gonna get you. That say we. So for those of you that don't know, when I went down to the court, when Erika did her plea and everything, apparently a lot of the other content creators, they was fighting, so I didn't even know what was going on. I went to try to talk to Erika. So I had kind of got like, So we walked outside. So she was talking to somebody in the hallway for a little minute, and she was talking to somebody in the hallway for a minute. We leave out. So she was next to me when I went live, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, is that like the Queen of the South?" I'm like, because she looks totally different because she has some health issues. And so she's gained a lot of weight. So even when you see like me posting her picture on the thumbnails as compared to the videos that Ernest had, if you didn't know, like hear her talk, or I can tell like her lips and her face, like around this area. But if you didn't know, she looks totally different. You wouldn't know it was her. So she was like, the way she was talking to me, I see why people get roped in, because even remember, she married the comedian, and he was in the chat at one point talking about one day he gonna tell his story with her. So a lot of people had stories, and she was y'all seen how she was. Everybody was like, at least she admitting what she did. People was like cheering for her, okay? Because the way she was talking, like, she basically came to this story, and she said everything was about protecting Shirley. So it was like she was his assistant, and her job was to protect Shirley by any means necessary. So she left her phone in the Uber or something that brought her there. So she asked, could she use my phone? So I was like, sure, here you go. Y'all know me, just goofy. So I gave her the phone, and everybody was in the chat. No, stop. She's a scammer. She's gonna steal your credit card information. They scared the mess out of me. By the time I came home, I had already got a whole nother phone. I went and bought another phone. Like, my nerves was on 10. Like, I never even thought about it. She was like, no, that's how they do. They can put a number in there and get all of your information out your phone. She's wiped your whole phone clean, Pam. I promise you. Oh no, you better go stop all of your bank accounts. Stop all of your credit cards. And y'all was in the chat saying it while she was right there. Didn't care. Y'all was in the chat calling her a scam a lot. And it to her face. Like, y'all was like, and we don't Pam, we love you. Don't let that lady take your. I was like, listen, God ain't gotta hit me in the face 10 times. I was like, okay, let me go. Too many people were saying it. It was too many. If it was one or two, I probably been like, oh, they just tripping. But because it was like the whole chat, I was like, nah, we going to the next AT&T store. It was that bad. It was that bad with the Erika stuff. Hey, Jess Nikki, good to see you. Miss HLS said that crazy lady would have stolen your whole life. She would have took my husband, my kids. She would have took Tom and a lawyer too. Mess around and find out. She been airbrushed me out of everything. That's why I was like, let me not show when I'm like up where my degree and stuff is, where I only show the bottom of. I'm like, shoot, y'all got me all paranoid. I'm like, what if somebody screenshot it and change their name or something and put their name on it instead of mine? Y'all woke me up that day because I was like, am I like, yeah. Hey, Dr. Matt, good to see you. Hope you've been well. Stacy, that first twin, she's always there too at the hearings over there. And then when I'm not there, she makes sure she keep the videographer on point. She said that lady can't even hold her boyfriend credit card. No, remember her life partner is a deacon in the church. Y'all ain't hear that? That her life partner is a deacon in the church? She met Ernest in the church. She knew Erika met Ernest because she went to church with one of his former wives, who is the gospel singer, and she could sing too, like what they call the Carol sisters or something. What are they called? The something sisters. I posted a link back then on my wall because I was like, this lady can sing. But yeah, she came on New Year's Eve. This is according to Erika. She was a member of the church and she wanted to testify that God has sent her a husband. And the husband was Ernest. So that's how she met him. And then I guess maybe they separated, like lost contact after a while or something, and then somehow came back together some years later. Cause Erika was like doing PR. So the guy she married was from Wildin' Out. He was from Wildin' Out. And she was doing PR or something from Wildin' Out. So she not a dumb. She got degrees and everything. She is not a dummy. She just, she just be trying to get over a little bit, allegedly. But yeah. So that's supposed to be like he wanted to hire her probably because of who she knew and the circle she ran in. Similar to why, there's speculation of why, he tried so hard to get with Shirley. And that's not to say Shirley, we know she's beautiful. We know she's a lovely person, but there were some perks there. We can't close our eyes and act like it wasn't any perks there. So that was like, seemed like how she put it, how I interpreted it, rather, that it was just a benefactor because of the circle she was around at that time. So she did like accounting type stuff. That's what she did. I think her degree might be in accounting. You said she was on the dean's list of Scammon University. No, she got real degrees. Y'all are funny to me. This ain't what we came here for, okay? We'd have been on for 47 minutes and we done talked about Ernest. Hey, really be good to see you, sis. You said the church is a hospital full of sick people. It is, but he was like super sad. You see, he still be spitting them Bible verses and stuff, It was one video visit with him and IS, and she was saying she didn't understand something. He was like, I know what it be. That's bad when he know what it mean. He was like, I know what it mean. If you just want to talk about it, I'm just trying to get up out myself. Shoot. So, we could talk about it, but I already know what the scripture mean. So he been doing the church thing for a little minute. He know the Bible. He said he know the Bible. He said, here's the thing. In the book of Psalm, what they talking about is, he is peekaboo. He is definitely still there. He might get out. The name of the deacon who Erika used as a reference during court proceedings matched a dead man. What? Did anyone ever confirm if the two men were one of the same? So what I assumed was it was the person that was on the lease, because she clearly isn't married to the guy, because she kept saying life partner. So I don't think they are actually legally married, but I believe it was the name of whoever was on that lease too. So do we know the man ever existed? I don't know. I have no clue. I never looked that deep. But tiptoe through the pretty tulips. If you look that deep, email me. We can do a whole nother show on that. The legal streets is dry. We might have to start backing up and coming up, backing up and expanding on some of the other things that we talked about. We might have to do that. Sonya in the 90s said, "Now, Pam," he said Hercules was in the Bible. Did he? He was in the lost books, girl. You ain't know that, Sonya, in the 90s? You didn't know Hercules was in the lost books? It's not the King James version. It was in the New International Hood version. Yes, Carol, Attitude, and Tylenol. What's going on with his case? Nothing. The state filed a motion to dismiss, and there hasn't been any responses yet, and he doesn't have any like future hearing set up until June. So we're just waiting. Nothing. I guess until the judge tells him you gotta you gotta do something. I don't know. Unless the judge gives them a hearing date. Right now, we're not gonna be back there till June. Oh, here we go with hood court again. We just had a whole Michi 3. Good to see you, sis. We gonna have to you gonna have to rewind it. We talked about hood court. I caught the people up that didn't know what hood court was. We even put the link in there for them to see what it was. We never really had hood court. We just had law offices of hood and ghetto. So we talked about having hood court with some of these. So what the vision was is that a lot of the stuff that happens on these YouTube streets, like the beefs that happen, is just ghetto. So we were like, we'll make them a docket, like a YouTube docket. Like, so that's where the court part came, but we never did it. But the court part was going to be the YouTube beefs, like a YouTube hood court. So like how people just don't like people for clicks and views and they start dragging each other, or one person don't like the other one on YouTube and everybody I'm the best content creator. No, you used me. Like all of the petty stuff. We was going to use that for hood court to try to come to some type of resolution to the hood YouTube hood matters. But we never did that. We only did the law offices of hood and ghetto, and it was starring our favorite client, Ernest Williams. And we had Sonia. She was the part, we were hiring her as one of the hood attorneys because we felt like she was giving hood information. So again, we finished this. Y'all can go ahead and talk about it. So that's it. All right, y'all. No. Okay, so what happened? Because I know not. Let me see. Did my husband respond yet? Because I knew that was so. What happened is there is a video call. So Peekaboo, Nesto was trying to get in touch with you. So that is true, allegedly. So there's a phone call of which Sonia, Sonia wasn't gonna never let him talk to me. So there's a phone call when I first started doing the commentary. She was kind of telling him stuff that I was saying, and he was like he needed a whole nother lawyer because remember his lawyers wasn't doing nothing, even though according to him, even though Shirley paid these thousands of dollars. And so she started telling him stuff about me. And he was like, oh, and he said, we need a lawyer to be able to discuss this or whatever on YouTube or whatever he said. You have to go watch the video. So, it's on phone calls from prison. And what ended up happening was he said, why don't you get in contact with her? Because maybe she can discuss the case. Because he was trying to get into social media, like get his stuff out here. She said, excuse me. She said she was talking ish about you too. And he was like, well, she don't really know the facts. She ain't got the facts. So basically, if in his mind, if I knew the facts, then my position would change. But I'm only going off of what was already what's out there. So in his mind, I'm going off of media as opposed to going off the facts. You know what I'm saying? That he always talk about, got to get your facts straight. So she was like, that's true. Like basically my commentary was, I was just going off of documents. Okay. So it wasn't even like personal by no stretch of the imagination. But yeah. Then it was all those, by eventually, they was going to sue all of us. We all was getting, you get a lawsuit. They trying to get Cardi B to represent them. But yeah, that's it. She said, but I told y'all, remember at first, I was really like new. I was trying really, really hard, even though you guys were going in on him. I was trying very, very hard not to go in on him. So like when he was in jail, y'all remember that if you like my day ones, when he was in jail, and I felt like I knew after 90 days they have to give him bond. So I wasn't understanding why when he went, I think it was in October, obviously it was 90 days because it was the end of October, beginning of November or something. That's the day that they tried to deny our um Rule 22. That was a whole nother fiasco when we go there. That's when I first tried to get Dennis involved because I knew he was down there and I didn't want to have to travel there all the time. So I was trying to get him to get the video of it and, whatever. And if he wanted to collab when it comes to the hearings, we could collab. So he went down there and she basically objected to the Rule 22. His attorney did. So then the judge was going to deny it until we found out that his girlfriend was out here going on platforms and he had done the interview with IS and all of that. But even after he was like dragging us, trying to get us not to be able to record, I still reported non-biased. And I was like, he's entitled. And I pulled the statute up. I was like, he's entitled to this. And I was like, and there were cases in Georgia at that time of people that did not get their bond and they was winning them. I had the cases and I was like, man, he don't even know. He worrying about the wrong stuff. Like she had him worrying about the wrong stuff. So I threw it out there. I wasn't giving no free legal advice because y'all was like, shut up. We don't like him, girl. Don't say nothing. So I was like respecting the intellect's wishes, but I still was trying to be unbiased and let him know, like, bro, you looking in the wrong direction right now. And that was way before he even got those, like, ended up where them charges, like when they kept redoing these charges and all this crazy stuff or whatnot. So, yeah, that's that. Yep, she named me Pat. So that's where Pat came from because that's what Sonya was calling me, Pat. You said despite our objections, everybody was like, stop, Pam, stop. Like how you guys were doing me with that cell phone. Don't give them nothing. Why are you giving them information? So I just pulled up the statute about bond. That's it. I just read it, break it down how you want to. But I didn't say some of the legal ramifications that have happened in similar type cases or, whatever. I didn't do all that. I stayed away from that. But once the phone calls leaked, then it was all about how to build their YouTube fame. Yes, absolutely. And that's what hurt them, how you going to avail yourself to the media? That basically means that what you wanted was your narrative to get out, but you didn't want anybody else's narrative. That's not how media works. It's not supposed to be one-sided. Pam was dropping legal crumbs and those bird brains couldn't pick them up. But man, I was all but giving it away because y'all was like, don't do nothing to help him. I was like, dang, okay. Well, let me say it this way. I'll be sitting here like this. There's a lot of videos I'm just looking up like, how can I say this without saying it? Because you guys were adamant on not giving them nothing. So I took the advice and I complied and I was obedient. And then she got worse and worse, and then I didn't care. I was like, I ain't saying nothing now, because she started getting worse. Like she ended up saying something in my chat, and then I did a whole live about her talking in my chat, and I had to let her know, like, this ain't really it. Go find somebody else to play patty cake with, because I'm not her. So we went through that. And then from there on, I just became a part of the messy group. I was the messy group. So yeah, them was the good old days. Just got dinner done. I've been listening. You know what, man? I smell mine down here, so I might want to go check on my own dinner. Because I ain't even looked at it because I'm smelling it now, so I might have to get off here. I ain't did nothing I was supposed to come on here for. I was gonna go over the statute. Now you're gonna have to read it yourself. Nesto got a bond but had no money to pay for it. It was definitely all over. He never got a bond for one of those cases. He never got a bond for one of those cases. And then the crazy part is they haven't even tried to even get one. Like what was that? Maybe April of last year or something? I think was the last, or February. Let me look that up. The last time he went in for a bond on one of those charges, I'm about to look it up real quick since we're talking about him. And I'm gonna have to change the title. Well, I didn't do a thumbnail, thank God. Because we didn't talked about everybody but what I said the title was. But it's cool. I just wanted to kick it with y'all anyway. Let me go back to one of his, see, one of these cases that's unindicted. So let me pull it up. So April 8th of 2024, like I said, he hasn't even been back on that one at all. So this one had denying motion for bond April 8th of 2024. And this was on the possession of, that was the pictures. Remember, they re-indicted him on that. So he ain't even try to get it after that. Remember, before they dropped it, they had actually given him like a 6-figure bond, I think. Then let me see the other case he has that's still unindicted. So he still has 2 other cases that have been unindicted. He's only indicted on the one with the RICO and all of the financial crimes, all the white collar crimes he's been indicted on. All the rest, he's still sitting in there on unindicted accusations. So this one is the aggravate, the SA type charges that it was alleged. And he does have a bond on that one, and that was February 23rd. I don't even remember what the bond was. It's been so long. Let me see. Let's see if they let me look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 400,000, 405,000 straight. So he got a 400. He almost got a $500,000 bond on this one. Those are the charges right there for those of you that don't know. Yeah. That's Ernest. We with you, Pam. We can chat with y'all all night. Thank you, Granny the Great. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. But as much as I love y'all, I gotta go eat. Sonya Matlock. Sonya Matlock Cochran thinks she knows that. She did. I mean, she get it right sometime. I ain't gonna, she worked in a firm, so and she get it right sometimes. Some of the stuff, like it seemed like when she was saying I never looked at the search warrants, but the search warrant, the way she looked at it, seems like the judge was feeling it until now we know that they're making that a part of some type of fraud. So he didn't have an expectation of privacy. So you can't try to challenge and suppress anything, even if it was illegal, is what they're arguing with the state, because you shouldn't have had it in the first place because everything was by fraud. Because they said that if Shirley were to testify, so I would assume they talked to her if they're saying if she were to testify, they said basically she would testify that of course he was already married when she married him and she didn't know it. And then also that he got that car without her knowing about it. He got that truck and she didn't know that he got it when it was in her name. So yeah. Dion saw what he did to I Am Hazel. He should be enjoying. That's alleged. Okay, that's alleged. But yeah, I get what you're saying. It was a lot going on over there. You said comments, wow, I'm having a blast. It's not real. Y'all can't never let me be serious over here. Thank you, Alice, for being a member for 18 months. That even a broken clock is right twice a day. Now, I get you. You guys know how I am. Just because I don't care for you and you're not my favorite person, I'll still give you your props, you know. My face is shining. I'll still give you your props. Oh wow, did I miss someone? We don't play around here. Okay, wait a minute. Want y'all to get along now. Leave that over there on the other channel for the hood and ghetto-ness. Can't sleep with dogs and not get fleas. SS knew something, but I get it. Gotta save yourself. Yeah, I don't think that she was as oblivious, and the reasoning being is because when I read some of those police reports, because again, the motion to dismiss had a lot of evidence attached to it. And when I read the police report, there were with one of those incidents, the address for where Shirley and they were staying at, the police came and tried to talk to him. And she had already said he had been arrested, what, 2, 3 times. This was the third time he had been arrested since they were married. I know the other ones, they were no lay price, because I did look those up and it looked like he did have some no lay price. But in the report, it shows that the police came and they talked to Shirley and was like trying to find out where he was. So there were some indications. I think there were. But that's it. Okay. All right, now folk in here acting like a fool. I don't know who this person is, but you gonna mess around and get blocked. You're gonna get blocked. And your mammy got a big forehead. How about that, Albert? And you can be blocked so you can go spend more time with your big-headed mammy. Have a great day. That's it. And I still love Jesus. All right, y'all. I'm about to get out of here. Y'all seen that the lady got some welfare fraud, and that was what this is supposed to be about, but it turned into a nesto. So y'all see. You said they home. Not the bishop. Not the bishop that came. You said he didn't show up on my live.
You's a clown. That's what you. Why don't you call me a cardboard bishop now? Huh? You tough? Call me a cardboard bishop now.
He's not gonna call you that.
Huh? Look on Facebook Live. Call me a cardboard bishop now. You clown. That's what you are. You clown. That's what you are. Why don't you say what you say on Facebook Live, sucker?
No.
And he called me bald-headed, Pam, if you want to be in conjunction with your Cody, the bishop. I was bald-headed. Attorney Pam, I have a question. When looking into someone public legal cases and they have multiple ones, do all the names show up? So you're saying if they have aliases, sometimes you need to know what those aliases are. So, like, for instance, I have a case I did a background check, had to do a background check on somebody, had to look at their criminal record. When I tried to look at their cases and where they were at, all of the cases were not showing up. And one of the reasons why it wasn't showing up is because one of the letters were spelled differently. So because of that, I looked up the actual case with the letter change, and I was able to pull them up. So it may come up under a different name. Hopefully that answers your question. So yeah, if you know people, and usually if they go to prison, they'll put all their aliases on there. So they'll put on their AKA so-and-so, even if it's just they use their middle name and don't use their, like with Ernest, like on his arrest records, there are a whole lot of names. So you may want to look at those, you can look those up or whatever. So when I started looking him up, I started looking at 2 different spellings in the different counties. So I would look up ER and I would look up EA. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the random commentary on tonight. Someone had to get cussed out and blocked. It happens sometimes. It happens. I don't, if it is Whitehead, I'm so sorry this happened to you. I wish you the best. but your mama. You know what I'm saying? You know where I'm coming from. We from the same era. Your mama. You know that's deep when I start talking about your mammy. But anyway, you guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for the support. And I gotta go. I gotta get out of here because I'm hungry and I'm smelling my food. And yeah, gotta go.